Welcome to Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside J-Dog.
Mike, it's good to see you. It's good that my Twitter and Instagram feeds no longer contain sub-content. It's great that we moved on from this debacle.
We moved on. I wanted to catch up on your event last weekend. You went to a golf event with our mutual friend. I wanted to see how that went. It didn't seem like you guys were thrilled to be there.
Not true. Not true. Okay. Instagram messaging doesn't tell the whole story, Mike. Okay. So listen, it was a controversial U.S. Open right here in L.A., right here in Beverly Hills. Like, I took a scooter home from the golf course. That's how close it was to my home. And so like a hometown open, it was amazing. The problem is it's in a little tiny area, Beverly Hills, where you can't get a lot of people. And there's all these barrancas. I know you know what a barranca is.
I don't know what a barranca. What's a barranca?
No one knows what a barranca is. They're dried up creek beds. So they're like, you have to go down and go up all throughout the course. So it's terrible to walk on, not much space. And so they let very few fans into the event. And then America watching on TV was not happy that it was not a raucous crowd. It's our U.S. Open. It's our national open. It should be like, we know the Masters isn't having craziness. The U.S. Open should have the craziness of any major, anytime, anywhere. And it really didn't, because it was a very yuppity, stuffy country club right here in Beverly Hills. And I do have a lot of thoughts on the use of that land 4 miles from my house. And we can get into that in a moment. But we had a great time because you know what? We were on the inside of the stuffy. We had all you can drink tickets, all you can eat. We had air conditioning. We had TVs. So there's a lot of drama. We were there on Sunday. Rory's coming down the back nine, trying to win his first major in 9 years. Could he do it? No, but at least we saw it play out on TV. Then he came right through where we were on 16 and 17. He couldn't make a putt all day. And our boy Rory couldn't win. We also, Mike, I'll say this. I don't know if you saw this. We broke contain on the 18th hole.
I did see some photos there. I was on vacation, so I was very minimal on my phone. I would like catch
up.
Office? I was a little out of office that weekend. I was looking at it. I'm like, oh yeah, it looks like it looked like you're having fun, but it wasn't like extreme fun. It seemed like you were very mellow. How did a mutual friend handle himself out there? I know it was a very high classy place for him. A lot of free booze.
There was important people around us. I'll tell you, Washington Commanders head coach Ron Rivera was in the hospitality area with us. Jimmy Rollins, MLB Hall of Famer, the Philadelphia Phillies, was in the hospitality with us. And there's a lot of executives there that we were trying to dodge and stay away from as we got drunker and drunker. So we go outside at one point, and of course, mutual friend right on command. Middle of the afternoon, a lot of people around.
Oh no!
He starts moving the table that we're sitting at to get it in better view, and my drink falls off the table, spills everywhere. Everyone's looking over at us. The commotion, like we had to have some commotion.
Sure,
right? There had to be with mutual friend involved. But it was a mellow open. So you're correct. It was a Hollywood crowd, Mike. Hollywood crowd. But that's what I was saying at the end. We broke contain on 18. We ran through the fairway and the green to circle the golfers. We ran past security and everything. There was literally hundreds of us doing it. It was very fun. And the irony is, if the dude missed his putt to win the U.S. Open on 18, they would have had to clear the whole hole for a playoff, and they would have had to play on that hole again after we trampled on it. So that's what we were hoping for. We were rooting for Rory. Now it's been this massive drought of 9 years, and this no-name guy, Wyndham Clark, won. Nice story, but not what we were looking for.
I know you want to talk about what to do with the land. Also, Malcolm Gladwell had a really good podcast on what to do with the land as well. But
his podcast of revisionist history, we'll get into that. But it was all about golf in general, with a mention about the specific course. You're right.
I wanted to mention, was this real news when we saw the headline of the PGA Tour commissioner taking an absence of medical leave? Was this real? Because I don't know if I got scammed, or is this a real thing? He stepped away immediately after this merger.
I don't know how to answer that properly. It's real that this happened. I don't know how real his situation is.
Yeah. I'm just asking. He really stepped away.
He really stepped away. That is correct.
Okay.
After he brokered all of the live drama. How does that make you feel after he was the spokesman for the PGA Tour about how bad live was? He closed the deal, and then he steps away with the condition.
I have a feel like this man is going to get fired or something's happening. It's a very weird thing because he knew this was going to happen. He didn't just all of a sudden make a deal one day. It must have been weeks of talking. It doesn't just immediately happen. So I'm just wondering, are they trying to put somebody else in? Is he really stressed out? Did he not know people were
I think he's pretty stressed out. I think there's a lot going on there. But he's getting the bag. And so whether he's having a medical condition or not, he's getting the bag, and he didn't resign. and he's still getting paid, and he'll get his settlement. And I think
Okay.
that's what matters to him personally. I do think the mental stress probably turned into physical stress, right? That wouldn't be a shocker the way that everyone was out to get him once this deal came through.
In a way, doesn't it make you feel like he should no longer be the PGA commissioner? Or like, I don't know. It feels weird to me that he couldn't handle this stress part of it, right? Like, we're not seeing who's the NBA commissioner?
Adam Silver, great
Adam Silver. He doesn't step away. He walks into the drama. He talks about it. He goes up front. He's very like open, talks about things. This guy just like dipped out, like some hard questions, couldn't handle it. You knew you were going to 9/11 questions, and you just dipped out. So I don't know.
I would say we've never seen a sports commissioner in this deep, in this much agonizing situation. Like Roger Goodell, if he held a press conference and said, we're selling to the Saudis after like out of the blue, and like the NFL is not owned by 32 owners, It's owned by the Saudis, that would be on that level. And nothing has ever happened like that in the NBA or NFL.
But with the NFL and the NBA, like all the owners need to be involved in this, right? It's not just like a decision that the commissioner can make. But I'm saying with this guy, it seems like he made the deal. He dug himself that grave because he was the one that for weeks and months said, if you leave, you're like leaving America because you were anti-American going over to live. And then he went over to live. Well, technically everybody went over to live.
They're all the same now. And it was great to see the live guys last week in person in LACC because they're all chummy with the PGA Tour players now. We know there's a huge rivalry, right, with live and PGA. Let me tell you about something I saw in the parking lot. Rory's walking in on Sunday for the end of his round. Brooks Koepka's driving by in his car. They're teeing off a similar time, so they're both arriving around the same time. Rory makes a joke with them, tells them to get out of the way. Brooks says, "What are you doing here so early?" And then they dab it up in the parking lot. That's just one little scene, but those are the two guys on the two sides of this quote unquote battle for the last 2 years, and now they're tighter than ever. So I think it's going to bring all the golfers together again. I hope Phil Mickelson gets redemption because he was the one that kicked all this off. He's the one who fans hated throughout the process. And I think if you see pictures of him, he looks like Tom Brady last year. That man is going through some agonizing moments. I hope Phil is okay and comes out of this okay.
So what do you mean? Don't you think he's okay that like basically he's back in the PGA, right? I feel like he won. He got his money and he's back in the PGA. So I don't know what else he's got.
That's not quite that simple because there's a lot to work out here, Mike. There's many live players suing the PGA Tour. And if you sued the PGA Tour, you will not be welcomed back right away. The PGA Tour has to work out a punishment, they say. That's what the Rorys of the world are demanding. There should be a punishment for these guys who issued lawsuits against us. You can't just sue someone and then go, oh, I'll drop the lawsuit and work for you tomorrow. So there has to be some kind of punishment there that they have to work out. So the shoe hasn't dropped yet. Listen, we have congressional guys up in DC. Obviously, they should be worried about more important things than this, but they are worried about this. They've already called Jay Monahan, who is in his medical condition, but they've called him anyway to testify. The guy he sat next to on CNBC, the Saudi main honcho, and Greg Norman. The three of them have been called to D.C. on July 11th, so we have to follow this closely. It's in a few weeks.
What are they suing over? That's what I'm trying to understand. Like, what are they just suing PGA over what? Like what is
the live players?
Yeah.
Or DC.
No, what are the live players suing over?
They were, when they joined live, they were kicked out of the PGA Tour. And so they were suing because they said, you can't kick me out. I just joined a rival. You can't kick me out. I still want to play.
Oh, but so they're not turning down that lawsuit, I guess?
They might be dropping their lawsuits, but the tour is not going to say, oh, you're dropping your lawsuit, let's be best friends again. You have to serve a punishment. You made us spend all this money on lawyers. You made us this negative person in your little battle with live. This is the tour. Again, this is Jay Monahan, and he has to work all this out, or whoever the new commissioner is.
But PGA ultimately merged with them. So it almost seems like a lose-lose situation. Like you're going to sue the new company that you've been merged into.
You know what's fascinating about the word merger? It was in the PGA Tour press release that they issued the word merger, and they've since backed off that term. And they say we're forming a new commercial entity.
That's what I saw too. Yeah, so
new commercial entity, which they say is different than a merger. How is it different? Who the hell knows?
I don't think it is. I think it's exactly the same. But
they don't want you saying merger.
Okay. Do you want to do some big
to the golf course? Can we talk about the golf course?
Yeah, golf course. Let's do the golf course.
Mike, this is massive. It's right here in Beverly Hills. This is Scandal City.
All right, hold on. We got a sound. I'm really eager to play some sounds.
Time to dig up the dirtiest stories around the sport world in this week's Scandal City.
Scandal of the week is
Okay.
Los Angeles Country Club right here. And I hope they don't come for me. Listen, I'm not
All
giving out
right.
my address. I don't live 4 miles away, but I live 4 miles away. I can
Yeah,
see
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And so this area of land, Mike, they don't have 18 holes there. They have 36 holes of golf.
36 holes.
They're on two different sides of the street. The golf course has to actually stop and be bisected by Wilshire, where the north course is north
Oh,
of Wilshire, the south course is south of Wilshire. And so it's on both pieces of land right there. So you're driving
wow.
down Wilshire, you just see trees and beauty and green. You're like, wow, what a beautiful piece of Beverly Hills.
Sure.
No, it's not beautiful. It's actually an area that you can never access any time in your life because you don't belong. Because only
Sure.
like 250 members do belong. The initiation fee is 250,000. You still have to pay many thousands every year to keep up with it. There are no phones allowed. There are no shorts allowed. It's this crazy 1950s. I'll tell you something about LACC that got me fired up, Mike. They did not allow Jews on the property until 1977.
What?
10 years before you were born.
Whoa. All right.
Right here in Beverly Hills. And so
Some
like they're
strict
so
rules.
slow to catch up, right? It's like Augusta in that way where they're so slow to welcome to modern times. And we have all this land right there. And you're out there, it's like, damn, I never knew this existed and I'll never be back. And it's just right there and it's beautiful. And it should be public, right? It should be public in some way. Either the golf should be public or it shouldn't be 36 holes of private golf. And it should probably be a public park. There's an overhead shot that went viral last week. It's not as big as Central Park, but it's kind of interesting where it's in like a rectangle, just like Central Park is. There's streets running through it and everything. Imagine a public park of that size or even half that size right there in Beverly Hills. There's nothing like that in LA. I know people listening don't all live in LA. There's nothing quite like a Central Park in LA, a central meeting place for outdoors and greenery and animals and kids and sports. Nothing like that exists. And it really should instead of 36 holes of private golf.
It is weird because the way that they get by is also because they're not paying taxes of 2023. They're paying taxes from whenever they founded this establishment, just like the golf course over in kind of like Larchmont area. It's a very weird thing and loophole that they get around. So it's like, who cares? They don't need the extra money. It's like, oh, we could have 100 members and get by because we charge so much for it. And I remember that revisionist history with Malcolm Gladwell. And it was interesting. It was like, open it up in the evening or have it open in the morning for people to walk on or do something like one day a week. You could just be able to access it and like have a park in there. But they're not going to ever do that unless some sort of weird laws change. I mean, California does a lot of weird stuff. So like, who knows? They might open it up to be like, oh yeah, all these private courses now have to be public, which they would
not all of them. Plus, there's 36. Like, what if you keep 18 for your little private games with your little CEOs and let the other 18 become a public park? Or maybe be more like Scotland, St. Andrews, one of the most famous golf courses in the world, Mike. Every Sunday, the golf course is closed and it becomes a public park. And I was actually out there a few years ago. On a Sunday, people are walking their babies with strollers through this beautiful area. There's dogs playing fetch. Dogs are allowed,
They're
like
allowed
running around. Yeah, run on the grass. And that's in Scotland, and that's the birthplace of golf. And so if you're going all the way back to tradition, like what does this club have to stand on? They're obviously not modern, and they're obviously not very traditional because Scotland is evolving, and they're the ones who created golf in the first place. They only exist to keep those high walls up and keep us, the riffraff, out. And one of the biggest controversies going back to the U.S. Open, and this could become a J-Dog Takes On the way I'm going on and on here.
I could
play it. Play it. Here's a J-Dog Takes On.
Hold on. I got to find it. There it is.
J-Dog Takes On.
Whew, you got me fired up today. Let me tell you, there's like 7,000 tickets available on the grounds that were non-hospitality every day. So we know there was tons of hospitality out there. Me and mutual friend, we were inside the Velvet Rope. We were part of that club. And so we weren't complaining at all. We had a great time. But there's only 7,000 general admission tickets for the walkers, those in the grandstands each day. Do you know what LACC members did? They had first right to buy those tickets. They bought half of the tickets for each day and didn't use them because they didn't want people on their private golf course. So it's like everything is funneling into this idea of not allowing regular people, even your 4-day event ever in history. No golf tournament of this scale has ever happened there. No one's ever seen it or been out there, and they still try to keep everyone out there. Super controversial. Did I buy a shirt, a hat, and cups? Yes. Did I love my time there? Yes. Was it the most streamed golf event in a certain company's history? Yes. Did J-Dog have a great week? Yes. But at the end of the day, I'm fired up that I can never go back there again. And that's not right because it's right there.
It is right there. I don't know what to say because it's weird. All the land in LA that you see that's like big public spaces are just donated by very wealthy people. Like Griffith Park donated. Some guy had all that land. That's actually like, there's like 170 miles of trails in Griffith Park. Some guy just owned that land, donated it to LA. So
Love
it's
it.
very,
We need
LA is
that.
very weird.
Yeah, we need that stuff. We need someone from LACC to do that with 18 holes.
I was also going to say, shout out to the Peacock. They like bought the naming rights to downtown LA near the Staples Center. They like are renaming some plaza. Like, I don't know what they're going to call it, but I guess it's
I
like
saw
Peacock.
that at LA Live. That's cool.
I thought it was pretty cool. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, wow, Peacock's really like doing different things. The Peacock's really trying different strategies. I appreciate
Really
it.
trying.
Yeah.
There's that Microsoft Theater is what it used to be
Yeah.
at LA Live is now the Peacock something.
Peacock something.
search
Yeah,
the
I don't know
P,
what
yeah.
it is. All right, let's do some big. I got some big dick energy here.
Okay.
Big
Love these.
Dick Energy.
I got it all.
Winner of the week.
That
Well,
voice.
this is not only big dick energy, but it might turn into a conspiracy theory too, because Michael Jordan is my big dick energy of the week. This man
Okay.
just sold the Hornets for $3 billion. He bought it back in whatever, the 2000s.
2010. Not even that long ago.
Bought it in 2010 for like I don't know. I think it was like 25 million, and then he paid another amount. Basically, became very rich from this deal. The Hornets, I would say, probably bottom tier value of NBA teams. Like, I was trying to think of other teams that could be valued less than the Hornets, but I couldn't really think of many. Like the Hornets are
Very irrelevant. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like he actually made a lot of money from a team that is not very relevant, or actually has not even been good. Like, I would even say the Washington Wizards are a better, more valuable team than the Hornets. So
Yeah, bigger market too.
to me, then I started like seeing these theories about it and seeing like, okay, Michael Jordan, like rich, has a ton of money, makes over like $400 million a year just from Nike alone, from selling sneakers, his likeness, the Jordan brand, tons and tons of money. And then it got me thinking, and I think I threw this out to our conspiracy theory thread, but it seems like there might be something going on where he might have been forced to sell the Charlotte Hornets for some gambling debt. We know MJ, big gambler, lot of gambling. Like anytime you get, like if you watch that ESPN documentary, he's like gambling with security guards before the game and like
That's right.
just trying to
Famously.
get a little fix in whenever he can. So I'm thinking something might have happened here, and I don't know what, and I'm going to still keep looking into it. I will report back in a few weeks, but I do think there might be something here. Why would a man valued at so much and have so much money need to sell the team at this time? Is he going to do something else? I mean, what do you got?
I love the conspiracy because why do you walk away? Why does Michael Jordan need the money? You're asking the right questions, and I can take this a step further. Do you have
Do it.
conspiracy theory music that we can drop in?
Did I don't
have a
think I
soft
put
little-
listen, conspiracy theory was probably
okay.
one of the lower tiered things. I'll add it next
It's
week.
okay. So listen, conspiracy theory wise, we watch a lot of TV here in LA.
We do.
Are you familiar with the casino that's doing the MJ night coming up? Have you seen
Yes,
those?
I saw
23 night. Did you see the
That-
TikTok about it?
I didn't see the TikTok. I might have. Did I send you the TikTok about it? About like they did a
You
whole
may have.
display in one of the casinos of MJ. It's like, why is he doing this?
And they're having this 23 night, I think it is, and they have all this memorabilia. So maybe you did send it to me, but
Yeah.
it really got me going down the rabbit hole. And basically, MJ might be in debt to this casino, and therefore is giving them all these signed everything, which are worth so much money. And like, where is the casino acquiring these things? And it would go into the theory that he is in debt for sports
Yeah.
gambling, which we also know there's also a conspiracy back in the day. Why did Michael Jordan ever leave the Chicago Bulls in the prime of his career to go try baseball with the Chicago White Sox?
Yeah.
Many people think he got suspended for a year for gambling on the NBA, and that's why.
I heard a different story. I heard it was blackmail from somebody or something. The people that like, didn't his dad die? In
His
it?
dad was murdered, right?
Yeah.
Maybe as part of his gambling debt. There's so many
Yeah.
rabbit holes here. This could become an MJ pod.
Yeah,
real quick.
I can't wait for like the actual true story of Michael Jordan after all this ends, because a lot of stuff doesn't add up. Listen, this man just made $3 billion. That's great for him, but I don't know how much money you can lose gambling in a casino. Like, realistically,
Well, we don't go
are
to
you
the high
funding
rollers
the entire
rooms.
casino? Jeremy, you froze on me here.
Am I
don't know
here?
Where you are?
Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm here. I'm here.
Can't see you,
Okay.
but I can
Okay.
hear you.
Okay. I'm here though. Keep
oh,
going.
okay. I don't understand how much money you could gamble away because his debts, he's probably gambling like even when he's playing golf, he could probably gamble away $100,000 on a golf course just with his buddies. Just like, oh yeah, let's do $100,000 hole or whatever it is. So this man has a lot of money. He's very quiet. He doesn't like go do a lot of press. He doesn't do a lot of pictures. You don't see him around a lot. You just see him on the golf course, smoking a cigar, having a good time. But we'll dig into this because I'm very curious to see what's going to happen because I don't really know. I don't know what happened here.
More layers to the story. Can you hear me? Can I tell this story? Can you hear me?
Hold on.
Mike
Turn
is
off
not
your
responding
video.
to me.
Let's see if that works. All right, go for it. You're good.
Can you hear me now, Mike? Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah. I can hear you now. Go for it.
Okay, it's a live show, folks. Anything can happen.
Maybe I can't now.
So I have this theory about Gabe Plotkin.
Well-
Gabe Plotkin, you can't hear me? What's going on here?
All right. Frozen there.
Mike, can you
Hold
hear
on a
me yet?
second.
Hello? Hello?
I can hear you. What's going on?
Are you sure you can hear me?
You come in and out. I would just keep talking because as you talk, it kind of works. I'm gonna turn off my video and see if that helps at all.
Okay. I'm just going to tell you a story about the guy who's buying the Hornets from Michael Jordan. His name is Gabe Plotkin. Gabe Plotkin is this multi-billionaire investor. Gabe Plotkin was involved in GameStop. GameStop lost, or Gabe Plotkin, the guy who's buying the Hornets from Michael Jordan. Oh my God, what's going on?
Hold on. We're freezing here. Are you good? Hello?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Are you sure you can hear me?
Yeah,
I feel like it's on a delay.
What's going on?
You can actually hear me in real time.
Hold on. You keep talking. I'm going to see if I can just join it from another. All right, Jada, you there?
Are you still there?
Yeah.
How's this? Real time?
I'm real time. We're alive. I just joined by a new room, so maybe it was me. Go for it.
Great.
I was hearing the GameStop thing because that was also another theory.
Let's reset the GameStop story. So Gabe Plotkin is buying the Hornets from Michael Jordan. Gabe Plotkin lost $1 billion a day in the GameStop fiasco. I just saw a trailer with Seth Rogen and all these guys coming out about the GameStop thing that just dropped. And so Gabe Plotkin is actually played by someone in it, Steve Cohen, all these rich guys are in it. So Gabe Plotkin lost $1 billion a day. We don't even know how he still has money to buy this from the Hornets. And then there's a new theory that maybe a group, Mike, that we've talked about, a group of folks who wants to get involved in American sports, who has unlimited funds. Who could it be?
The Saudis.
The Saudis might be running money through Gabe Plotkin to buy the Hornets and have Gabe Plotkin as the face to buy the Hornets. And I'm just going to leave that right there.
Wow. I do like that theory. I did see that. There's a lot of webs that tie back to Michael Jordan here.
MJ,
and it is,
not the cleanest.
Not the cleanest. I don't know what's going on, but it's definitely it's interesting because there's a lot of stuff that doesn't add up, and we'll see. Because I think wow, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna find some more videos on it. I'm gonna bring the videos
we'll
next
have
week.
More follow-ups on this. I just need to mention, based on all the conspiracies we just shared on MJ and all these rich, powerful people, if either one of us, Michael or Jeremy, go missing, you need to investigate them first. Or the LACC membership right here. I have many options in today's show.
Or give us a membership. One of the two.
Oh, you can silence us so quickly with money or a membership. Like we are down to be silenced.
We are easy, but you pay us off
so easy. It's not as much as you think. Trust me.
All right, I got a Scandal City.
Time to dig up the dirtiest stories around the sport world in this week's Scandal City.
This is the biggest one I've wanted to talk about for a little bit. The Zion Williams scandal that is going on right now.
Oh my!
This just keeps getting better and better. Zion Williams, this man is expecting a child. He just announced on Instagram. And that took off his mistress to do a lot of posts about how they're having sex. She's got a sex tape. She might release this sex tape. I think this girl on my Instagram I saw right before, I think she just got a Zion tattoo on her face.
Saw that.
This is getting kind of wild. She's also threatening the Pelicans to trade Zion out of New Orleans because he does not deserve to be in New Orleans. Zion has not responded. Zion has not played basketball in God knows how long.
What's he doing? Is he hurt? I don't even
This
know.
man is hurt. He got fat, and I don't
He
know.
had one of the worst bodies coming into the league. Like people are like, "Oh, this guy's gonna be amazing." He's like a round bowling ball. He is a weird shaped person.
But the thing I think there was potential of like, hey, you're coming out of college, you just get a little lean out, get a little more muscle. You could be like the next like LeBron James. Like that, I think was the hope. This man got his own shoe line. He got it all. I have not seen him play. There's no excitement about him. I would trade him away right away. Get this mess out of there. Now, it does scare me because it seems like this is real, right? Like it doesn't seem like a faked thing. Like she has videos, she has photos, all these tweets, cell phone images.
Very specific about their sex
Yes.
acts. Very specific
Yes.
about eating ass and all
Yeah,
these different
yeah.
things. And she's just putting them on blast. And it makes me
Yeah.
think, thank God my sex life is not all over social media. Mike, if
thing.
I was as famous as Zion, I'm handing out NDAs like I'm Tiger Woods, okay? Because I would
Wow.
never, this is like a nightmare fuel for me to have someone blasting about my sex life as a famous athlete like this. Because what's he supposed to do? Refute it? It all happened. It's all true. It's
But I listen, this always goes back to our no man, our guy that needs to be with a celebrity and star all the time. It's like,
I know.
you can't do this. Like, if you want to do this, you need to be. I would say Tiger Woods pulled it off the most discreetly for as long as he could until he piled up too many women and had like a little issue and had to go to rehab. So I think this is like something where, listen, if you want to do this, maybe don't get married. Maybe don't impregnate your wife. maybe stuff
Is
like
that
that.
it? Are they married? Are they actually married?
I don't know.
don't
I
think
just
they're
think there's
married.
like there's some common sense that needs to be played here. But listen, I get it. If you handed both of us when we were, let's say, 22 years old, $100 million contract, we'd probably get a little wild. A little bit.
I don't know. You're not giving us enough credit. We both knew to hire a person like
We
us
did.
who wants money and is responsible and doesn't have resources to just watch out for me. I would have
Yeah.
hired me to do that. Sadly, we didn't get that opportunity.
No, we didn't get that. No, we didn't get it.
The NBA draft was last night. A few notes. The Spurs 7-5. This guy from is it France? He's from France, right?
Yeah. He's
I don't know
huge.
how to pronounce his name. Victor something.
Yeah,
Huge. Threw a terrible first pitch at the Yankees game. He's going to be great for the Spurs. He is one of the most mentally strong athletes, young athletes I've ever heard. He was on a JJ Reg podcast, Mike, talking about enlightenment and how we all have like free will. And he's
Oh.
never stressed and never mentally challenged because he has free will to make his own decisions. And
okay.
it was just like so powerful. He's like 20 and he's so tall. Anyway, I think he's going to be very exciting for the Spurs.
Did you see all the fashion last night? All the guys were like they're all dressed. That's all I saw. I didn't even watch it. I saw all the recaps. I'm like, man, people are like dressed to a T here for a lot of different events.
They were. And I think you might be going down a road for Grady Dick. So I made a note of this. Grady Dick has a TikTok video, much like you were doing during COVID, where just stupid TikTok dances with his friends. And it's hilarious. It makes me laugh so hard. But he's a weird, little different. I would say a little different. He wore the red,
Yes,
the satin red last
Went to
night. He said he
Toronto.
wore it because he's from Kansas and Dorothy's red slippers were red. So he wore the red
okay.
for that. So I don't know, maybe I didn't like the outfit, but that's just me. He seems like a great personality,
Seems
very
goofy.
fun,
Yeah.
way different than your typical NBA player. So I'm wondering how he's going to acclimate in the Raptors
Well,
locker room. Hopefully they welcome him.
Did you see the video where he's like going to Toronto and he just wants to be friends with Drake? He's like, yeah, that's the plan. Like going to Toronto, hopefully me and Drake
Yeah.
are boys. Like
Yeah,
it was,
which you can identify with.
yeah, that'd be great. It was
I thought that was
interesting.
entertaining.
It
Yeah.
was a very interesting draft because I didn't understand why everybody dressed up so much. It's almost like we're out of the house for the first time. I don't know. It feels like
But
things
what do
are
you
finally
think?
happening.
Don't you think for the NFL draft where they have like the red carpet, they're always all dressed it up? Remember we saw Zach Wilson like not being able to like blend in with the boys, like all that stuff happens at the draft.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess they were just like, this was the most highlighted draft of fashion because I've never seen so much fashion. Like there was fashion rankings of the NBA draft last night, which I haven't seen before. So I kind of liked it. I kind of like show off your personality before you go to a team, see what happened. It was nice. It was a nice little change.
The other controversy, there was a
Yeah.
controversy last night, was Shams, who is an NBA insider. He's the Adam Schefter of the NBA. There's a couple of them, but he's one of them. And he now works for FanDuel, Mike,
FanDuel,
which
yeah.
is interesting that he works for a betting service. And so he's tweeting out rumors and information. And normally he hits. Like, he's on that level of Schefter where he's the guy in the NBA that you
Yeah.
trust, and he's always ahead of stuff. So he tweeted earlier in the day about rumors connecting a player to the number 2 pick in the draft, and it was a surprise. And the odds at the time that he tweeted that were super high for the player, like maybe 20-1 to go in the top 2 or whatever it was. And so that started getting hammered at all the sports books, including FanDuel, and it came all the way down to like 3-1 or 4-1. That player did not go in the top 2. That did not happen. And there's a lot of controversy because Shams is employed by a sports book. He tweeted the rumor, and the sports book most likely made a huge nut on his rumor and all these people flooding to their site. So as a bettor, I want to get your opinion on where you fall with that situation.
So I saw something from one of the guys that I follow, Steve Fezzik. He's a great gambler in Vegas. Good podcast that I listen to. He literally lives in Vegas and lives off gambling. And he retweeted this. But it was basically a tweet talking about how FanDuel and other casinos should not be taking money from the draft last night. So there's a lot of things that are like,
oh, so he's against it too.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem that it's hard to regulate it, right? Because there is a lot of inside information. People can leak stuff. There's nothing against it. But this one guy tweeted, I don't think there's anything nefarious going on, but I do find it puzzling that a regulated sports book is allowed to take bets on the NBA draft and also employ an insider who can tweet nonsense, who can basically like move lines and do stuff like that. Now, listen, people move lines all the time in the NFL. You tweet stuff and you're like, oh, this is going off. And, during the week, sometimes there's like conspiracies like, is Aaron Rodgers going to play? Is he hurt? What's wrong with his shoulder? You're trying to get as much information as possible. But I do find it weird that you can't gamble on like random things, but you can gamble on the draft. And I feel like the draft is something that people can find out about. It's not as secure, but do you think it's as secure as like the Oscars where they take it? There's like a third party that takes it, locks it away. Is the draft that secretive? Like if you were on the inside of the Toronto Raptors, could you not tweet me and be like, dude, we're taking them at this spot. Like there's no one else that we're taking at this spot. We're going to get them here. I would be,
I'm fascinated by your take here because you're normally on the other side of this. You're the guy, and I'm the one who's like, if they're soft bets, I call these soft bets where you don't, where there might be someone, as you're saying, that knows the answer. And I always go back to the national anthem, the Gatorade color, the length of the anthem, Rihanna's clothes for halftime, all those things. Someone out there knows the answer, whether you're involved in rehearsals, whether you're on teams with them, whether you're involved in logistics. So if you know the answer, you're right. And so someone on the Raptors will know the answer. It is a little weird to be taking money on it, but they all did. And to blame Shams, he's not an unreliable reporter. That's where I think this goes a little astray, is maybe he had a bad report. He's like 99%. And so I do trust him most of the time.
I'm not blaming him. I'm blaming the sports books for doing stuff like this. Now, I will say the Rihanna stuff for the halftime show, they removed it immediately. Like I bet it, and our mutual friend would not let me bet it in our gambling contest because it was removed from the internet.
Won instead.
There was no gambling allowed on that at all. So I think the way they should do it, I mean, they just recently opened it up to the Special Olympics. Like that's a sport. That's a challenge. There's no inside info.
Controversial again, yeah.
Controversial, maybe, but it's a sport, right? So, and they also don't let you bet on amateur sports. But as gambling evolves, they're just trying to get a lot of money, right? So this is like another grab at money. Like I would never bet on draft day because there's not a lot to bet on. It's like who goes here. One of the bets I saw somebody do was like how long it would take the first round draft. I don't know the guy's name. How long it would take him to shake the commissioner's hand over under 50 seconds. And I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. And
you love those props. Yeah.
Those are fun props, but it is hard when you get inside information and you do, I don't know. It's a weird gray area that they have to figure out. But look, if they're not losing money on it, they can do it all they want because no matter the inside info, they can change odds so fast that maybe they get a few people in there. And those limits on FanDuel is not as high as real casinos. Like real casinos would not take a lot of those bets because that's why you always get these like double ups and power ups in FanDuel. Our friend in Colorado, he's always getting like booster plays on some gambling because it's like a fucking online.
He hits a lot. Shout out to him.
Yeah.
Either he doesn't show us the ones he misses or he hits a lot.
I think he might lose more than he shows us, but hey, all the ones I see him hit are great. And when you spread the field like that, you're bound to win, right?
That's true. I don't know. I think the NFL draft, for example, is one of the biggest nights for sports books. You know, I think it might be bigger than certain NFL games because you have every fan base involved where it's like you get to week 14 and people have fatigue and they might not be betting, but everyone's involved in the draft. Obviously, the NBA is not at that level. I think it's okay to, in general, to bet, will this guy be a top 5, top 10 pick? Because it's part of the fun. And I think the draft has become that big of a deal. On the subject of Shams, like, why does he work for a sports book? I know they're doing content with FanDuel TV. Is there something there that we should investigate? I don't think he did it nefariously, but is that the right thing to do? I think that's fair to look into.
I just think that I don't really, the Shams part of it doesn't bother me. That I'm okay with. Let him tweet all he wants and let you decide if you should make the bet. He was not pointing a gun at anybody and be like, you guys better fucking bet this or you're an idiot. He was just,
but if buried in his contract with FanDuel is 5 times a year, you need to bet, you need to tweet something that's not true that we make money off of, that would be one of the biggest controversies we've ever had.
I agree.
That's the flip side.
but I don't know. It's getting harder and harder because now you're seeing like some NFL players and NBA players that are gambling on the games. And it's almost too easy now. You look at your phone, you're in Colorado. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to bet on the game. We're going to win this game tonight.
Isn't there an NFL player who lost like $3 million last year, but we don't know who it is yet?
Yeah, there's something
on the NFL.
Yeah, there's something happening. But I just wonder, so I don't know how they're going to control it because as gambling becomes more and more public, it's going to be harder and harder to stop. And the information that you get, and that's the problem. Like right now, in this day, last year, when everybody was gambling on games, everybody mostly has the same information. Mostly everybody goes into a NFL, family draft or friends draft and pretty much knows most of the same information. Maybe not up to date, but you have like ideas. You almost have to follow the right people. And if you're gambling on certain things, I don't know. It's just we're in a big time of misinformation too. So it's like, who do you trust? And I think those are the sources that you need to follow to make sure you're making the right bets because it's hard. Because a lot of it's with crypto too. When you see somebody like, guys, this is gonna pump. It might pump, but you've already missed the boat. You should have been in before these people triggered the alert to like, this is gonna pump because everybody's in there.
That's true. That's really
fair. I don't know. It's tough. So that's all I got on that. So we'll see what happens. But he should not be in trouble. He's allowed to say information.
Unless he did intentionally, which I don't think he did.
I don't think he did. No. But it is weird that he works for FanDuel. I mean, ESPN, I would say, has more reach, and they literally have gambling shows now.
But they don't have a sports book where they can monetize the outcome.
Sure. I agree.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Maybe they will one day. Hey, does Fox Bet win Terry's money, right?
Yeah,
does ESPN have something like that?
I don't know. I don't understand win Terry's money. I don't know if people actually win Terry's money.
They shoot the money gun out.
Yeah.
I think it's actually like not real gambling, but it's like a free game to play for anyone, and then you can pick 6 winners, and then you win $1 million or something. Yeah.
By the way, Jeremy, well, we can talk about it off air, but maybe talk about it next week. But I have something that I want to approach you with, and then we'll talk about it next week on the air. Okay. I'm excited for it, and hopefully you're in on it, because if not, we're not going to talk about it next week.
Well, maybe you should save it for next week, and we'll do it live on the show, and we'll just find out. I don't think we should do it
live. I should approach you first before we do it live on the show.
Okay, I'm surprised.
Check out the sportshangover.com. We got t-shirts up there. We got new swag up there. It's great. A lot of stuff. I think we have the 4th of July t-shirt up there, the Sports Hangover USA t-shirt. If you get
we have great summer shirts. You're underselling. I think we have amazing summer apparel. We have tanks, we have tees. They're soft. They don't shrink up in the wash.
They are great.
The tanks are great. I mean, if you're going out on a boat in July, you're going to want one of our tanks because they're like $15 and it's going to be repping America and the Sports Hangover, the two best brands you could think of.
Win-win. All right, good show.
Mike, I thought there'd be more submarine talk today.
I'm over it. I'm over the submarine talk. Let's go.